Hi everyone, and welcome to the Free Range Diva. I am so happy to talk to you today. First of all, I want to say how much I appreciate and I'm so grateful for all of your comments and your well wishes, your prayers, those of you that shared your stories and offered your advice. It just meant so much to me. It's past the size of words to express to you the gratitude and that I feel. A lot of reading through everything that you all wrote actually made me feel better. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My mother thanks you, and I wanted to let you know that she actually had a flu shot in the fall, and so she didn't get as sick as I did. So her recovery was a lot faster, and she is doing much better. In fact, it's kind of nuts, but she had gone to a concert the Sunday before she got sick with her choir from church, and everybody that was in the car that she rode home with that afternoon got sick. Half the choir got sick. So apparently, whatever it was, that's where everybody picked it up. But she's doing better. I'm doing better. As you can see, I'm feeling much better and getting stronger every day. So thank you all so very much. So I'm starting a series I've wanted to do for quite a while, and it's called the Spring Detox series. And this is the first one, which is going to be kind of talky. I apologize because I just wanted to give you, I guess, a little microcosm of my thoughts on detoxing, what it is, why we should do it or not do it, which is actually kind of getting into the meat of this discussion today. So I'm not going to belabor the point too much. I'm just going to jump right in. And after today's little episode in the Spring Detox series, there'll be others upcoming with a beautiful mask that I found, along with my favorite detox smoothie, how to detox your home. So hopefully this will be a good time to sort of start thinking about cleaning out the old and bringing in the new. All right. So when we commonly, and by the way, yes, I do have notes because I don't trust myself to be able to get through this, especially with my flu brain. So I do have notes. So when we commonly think of detoxing, what comes to mind is usually like colon cleanse or liver cleanse or a 3-day juice fast or something along those lines. And yes, the colon and digestive system are heavily involved in detoxing the toxins that come into the body. But the body has several mechanisms that work synergistically to help it detox chemicals and things that come in that are detrimental to our health. These multiple pathways include, yes, the colon and the digestive tract, the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, the skin, and the lymphatic system, which is kind of like a mini little sort of toxic waste and recycling plant inside the body. The skin helps to rid the body of toxins through the pores and the sweat glands. The lungs, we breathe in through our nasal passages, are our first line of defense to filter out pollution and other pollen and things that we don't want to get into the lungs. And then the lungs themselves, as the air comes in, they're like a giant filtration system to send pure oxygen into the bloodstream, not oxygen plus smog or whatever else we may be breathing. So all of these, of the bodies, the body is kind of like this miracle of a walking, talking detox, waste removal system. And it's all controlled by a hormone known as vitamin D. So if your vitamin D levels are low, your body's detox system is not going to work as effectively as it should. The body has been made this way long before there were, chemical manufacturers and belching their waste into our air and our water systems. Long before there were like pesticides being sprayed everywhere, the body still had a very complex and well hewn and well working detox system. So it makes you think that the world was probably always a pretty toxic place. So if you think about it, there are things like sulfur from geothermal activity, methane gas from animals and their waste, and even wood fires release formaldehyde into the air that we breathe in. So that doesn't even include things like poisonous plants and spoiled food. So the body has, even though our body is created to be able to rid itself of toxins, today our environment is clearly a lot more toxic than it used to be. Now here's where the notes come in. NYU recently did a study on the effects of chemical endocrine disruptors and how much they cost us in yearly because of the negative effects that they have on the body. So they looked only at the impact of plastics, flame retardants, food can linings, detergents, cosmetics, and pesticides. These your endocrine system is your hormonal system, and that determines our reproduction, growth, and development, as well as the proper function of our immune system and our neurologic system. So these endocrine disrupting chemicals have been directly connected to autism, ADHD, obesity, diabetes and cardiovascular disease, infertility and endometriosis, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, as well as a variety of cancers. And they determined that these agents cost $340 billion per year in lost wages and healthcare costs. And that study only looked at a group of chemicals, there's over 80,000 chemicals in use in the United States, and only about 20,000 of them have been studied for safety, which is a little startling, but there you go. They didn't look at things like heavy metals, chemical waste, the unrelenting spraying of herbicides that make them now ubiquitous in our environment. So what happens when our body's detox systems get overwhelmed, when the body can't keep up? Well, it has one more coping mechanism up its sleeves to be used in case of emergency. It stores the waste in fat cells. So whatever is still in your bloodstream that it can't get rid of gets stored as fat, and it creates more fat cells in order to store more waste, depending on the demand. So have you ever thought, I'm eating less and I'm exercising, but I can't lose the weight? Or I'm putting more weight on? Or have you ever been on like a diet where where there's a rapid weight loss at the start and you don't feel great? You feel awful. This happened to me when I had my reaction to foods and I wasn't sure what I could and couldn't eat. Weight started coming off, and you just feel like you have flu, body aches, headaches, just a general sense of malaise and feeling off. This is something called a Herxheimer's reaction. And it can happen when you're doing a true detox and your body realizes, oh, okay, now I can start processing out these fat cells, and it's too rapidly. You don't feel great when when those fat cells start being reabsorbed into the body. It can also happen when you have yeast overgrowth and you start treating it and you have a too rapid die-off of the yeast. It can make you feel sick. Same thing as if you're chelating out things like heavy metals like mercury, poisons, and things like that. If you do it too quickly, it can make you feel bad. Just know that this is normal, and it can result when you have a rapid weight loss from a true detox. So, what's a true detox? It's when we stop or critically decrease the amount of toxins going into the body so that our body's natural waste removal system has a chance to catch up. So I have a few steps that I can list that can help us lower the body's toxic load. And I'm going to start again with something called phthalates. And this is a chemical that's used to make plastic soft. And Georgetown University did a study where they analyzed other studies that analyzed common household dusts in homes across the country because they wanted to get a really large sample and find out exactly what these studies revealed. So they found out that in the average American home, your average old house dust contains 10 of the most toxic chemicals that have been studied. Number 1, in greatest abundance, are phthalates. Number 2 was flame retardants. So how do these phthalates get in our dust, and how do we get rid of them? So, number 1, do not microwave your food in plastic. I'm sure many of you already know this, but for anybody out there within the sound of my voice that is still microwaving food in plastic containers, I am going to come to your house, I am going to find you, and I'm going to spank you. Don't microwave in plastic. When you buy little packaged foods that come in plastic containers, Corningware, look at this. Put them in something like this and stick them in your microwave. There is Pyrex, right? Anchor Hawking, Frigoware. These things are quite cheap. You can get them at Target, Home Goods, your neighborhood market, and really, I would go so far as to say, don't even store your food in plastics. It can break down, and when it breaks down, it releases phthalates into your environment. Also, don't put plastic utensils into the dishwasher. Again, they can break down, and the next time you use them, phthalates are going to be released. Avoid food containers with recycle numbers 3, 6, and 7. Again, these contain phthalates and they will break down and get into your environment and into your system. So recycle numbers 3, 6, and 7. 1 and 2 and the normal recyclable plastic is fine. Plastic water bottles, that sort of things are fine. And then finally, throw out that vinyl shower curtain. When phthalates again makes plastic soft, and then when you heat it up in your shower, you're literally steaming in a phthalate bath. This stuff is lethal. It's one of those endocrine disruptors that I was talking about earlier in the video. And so you can replace your shower curtain with things like hemp, cotton, polyester, and the newer PEVA, which is a type of plastic that is phthalate free. All of these options are not great. Hemp would probably be the best as far as practicality in terms of keeping mold down and drying really quickly and being sanitary and washable and all that stuff. It's also really expensive to buy a hemp shower curtain. We're talking $200, $300. And before I would spend $200 or $300 on a shower curtain, I would just put up a glass door, right? But organic cotton is out there. It's not too expensive. Like I said, polyester and the PEVA, which is better than phthalates. Here's a few more sort of proactive things you can do to help your body detox. Drink bottled water. You're avoiding chlorine and fluoride when you do that. Or filtered water, which can filter out chlorine but not so much fluoride unless you have a whole house reverse osmosis water filter. Eat organic, at least at first. I know, sometimes organic can be expensive or you can't, don't have a big variety, but try and eat, at least for like the first week of your detox, only organic. Then use your lists from EWG, the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, to eliminate those fruits and vegetables that are the part of the Dirty Dozen, and only buy those organic or not at all, and then eat the rest conventional from the Clean 15 list. Saunas and dry brushing. Saunas are a great way to help the skin perform its detox better. You sweat out those toxins in saunas. And dry brushing is a way of brushing the skin with a soft brush, light strokes upwards towards the heart area. So you would brush up the legs, up the arms like this towards the heart, around in circles here around this area. And this helps your lymphatic system to perform better. You can use chelating agents like spirulina and cracked chlorella. These help to bind up toxins in your intestinal tract and escort them out of the body before they even get into your bloodstream. Charcoal is another chelating agent, but I would not use it without working with your doctor, because it can be dangerous if you ingest too much charcoal. But spirulina and cracked chlorella are quite safe. The only thing with spirulina is you have to make sure that it's grown in a pristine environment, so know your source. If you're buying spirulina and it's really cheap, you probably don't want it, because spirulina absorbs toxins. So if it's grown in a toxic environment, it's going to be toxic when you get it. Let's see. As I said at the start of this video, get those vitamin D levels up. If you live in the United States, if you took a line and started on the West Coast here in Los Angeles and drew a horizontal line straight across to the East Coast, coming out, I think, somewhere in South Carolina, I think, anyone above that line is going to have a difficult time of getting enough vitamin D from the sun. The sun has to be at a 45-degree angle before you can even make vitamin D. You have to expose enough of your body for enough amount of time. And if you have darker skin, it's going to be even more difficult. And of course you can't, if you're wearing sunscreen, you're not going to be able to, absorb any of the sun's rays to make vitamin D through your sunscreen. If you live below that part of the country, you still might have an issue with high vitamin D levels. I live here in Los Angeles, and every single friend of mine who went and had their vitamin D levels checked were ridiculously low. So if you have darker skin, if you wear sunscreen, if you just don't expose enough of your body for a decent amount of time, your vitamin D levels are going to be low, and all of the organs that are involved in this waste removal are vitamin D dependent. So make sure that you are supplementing if you think your levels might be subpar. Okay, was that enough for one day? So yes, that's part one. That's all the, the tedious info. I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you will come back for part two, because that's going to be a lot more fun, because it's going to be face masks and food. And remember when I said, if you saw my best of skincare tag, and I said that I was had this particular face mask, the Leilani Mermaid, on my wish list, and that I felt that soon I would be getting it? I got it. So come back very soon. I'll have that video up within a couple of days. And in the meantime, everybody take care. Have a great day. Give this video a thumbs up if you thought it was helpful. That helps me out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I will talk to you again very, very soon in my next video. Bye.